everyone, and good morning from Cincinnati, where today I'm here at Cincinnati Zoo, one of my favorite zoos in the entire country, a place I absolutely love. This video we're going to show you everything the zoo has to offer, all the animals, all the exhibits. I'm excited. One of the big reasons I wanted to make this trip out to the Cincinnati Zoo this year was for this exhibit here. This is the zoo's brand new $60 million massive expansion known as Elephant Trek. And it does look pretty spacious. I just entered, there's a big waterfall in the entrance area. Let's go see some elephants. The elephant enclosure is really neat. You can tell there's different sections of it, tons and tons of different viewing points. There you can see 3 of them having a snack over there. A big guy with tusks too. Oh man, I can't imagine if you lived in one of those. I guess those were just normal houses like right outside the zoo, which now possess an elephant view. That's living the dream right there. I believe over here by the pavilion is my favorite view of the new elephant enclosure. Very well done. This is neat. You also get to see inside of the elephant barn, which as you expect is massive. In their herd here, I believe they have 8 elephants, at least 8 at the Cincinnati Zoo. The elephants weren't the only creature to get a new enclosure as part of the Elephant Trek expansion. Here you can see the new home for the siamangs. One is way up there at the top of the street. If you got lucky with the new siamang enclosure too, they have tunnels where the siamangs could walk right over the guests. There goes the siamang doing the Spider-Man thing. This very vibrant species of bird here, those are rhinoceros hornbills. They kind of walk in little hops, so if you get to see them walk, it's pretty cool. Looks like coming down the ladder there is an Asian small-clawed otter. There's another one there. They are my favorite species of otter. Look at it doing a big yawn. Another one of the new enclosures here, a very, very nice otter enclosure. As he goes up the stairs, that's adorable. Oh my goodness. A top-notch enclosure for Asian small-clawed otters. With this being the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden, as part of the major Elephant Trek expansion, they also added this, the Asian Waterfall Garden, which if I'm going to pan around, and it gives you another wonderful vista out onto the elephant enclosure. Heading into the Africa section of the zoo, which is home to the zoo's most famous residents. And we have made it to the zoo's most famous residents, of course, that is the hippopotamuses here at Hippo Cove. They have a nice enclosure, underwater and above ground viewing for Fritz, Fiona, BB, and Tucker. Looks like it is feeding time here at Hippo Cove. Oh, they both popped up. Oh my goodness.
What? Wow, look at her mouth. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. I believe the one on the left is Fritz, who's the youngest. I think he'll be 3 years old sometime later this summer. This is such a treat. You get to see 3 of the 4 hippos in the bloat, all over here waiting to be fed. Little Fritz right there with his little teeth. In the middle, Fiona on the right. I think that is BB on the left, the mom. A little ear wiggle there. This is a lovely, lovely treat. Hey, Leo. And the hippos are done with their snack and they're on the move. It is pretty neat. Oh, there's the hippos. Right next to the smaller window at Hippo Cove, they do tell the whole story of Fiona. How she was born 6 weeks before due, and it's like 29 pounds. It's the smallest hippo to ever survive. And that's just Fritz looks like he just wants me to zoom in on him. And he looks sleepy. Oh, he's cool.
Oh my word.
We are getting some very good luck in the Africa section.
Come on, girls.
I love the difference between the lions. The male vocalizing and the female adorably asleep. Another one of the most popular African animals. Here you can see the giraffes. And for a couple bucks at the zoo at different times of day, you can feed the giraffes. And it seems like they're really enjoying that. If you've never fed a giraffe before, it's really neat. Also gives you, feeding a giraffe gives you a really good perspective on how big they are. Pacing around right there, you can see one of the zoo's cheetahs.
It's a cheetah! Guys, the cheetahs are here! Cheetah!
Look at the little teeth on the meerkat. Oh, he's on the move. Oh, there's a couple more over there. Do a pretty nice meerkat enclosure. You don't see a lot of them out. I'm assuming that means they're probably in the tunnels. Very popular. It's like a school field trip day, so there's a little pop-up thing with a giant lion. There is an animal interaction area with Rachel, the eastern box turtle, who's getting picked up. Really like this enclosure here. Multiple waterfalls, and this is where the zoo's African painted dogs are. One is running around over there. These guys do tend to sleep a lot, but they are a very cool species to watch when they're up and moving around. Sometimes they'll run in packs. That's my favorite time to come see them. Here you can see a big African savanna type environment. A couple different types of birds in here. I believe this is where the zebras normally are, but they are off exhibit today. Here's a different view of the savanna, and they do have a couple different areas to view the savanna. It's in this area you can see a couple of different animals, and then all the way in the back over there you can see some of the kudu. Kudu are hiding pretty good today. Back on the savanna, I believe that is the youngest of the kudu. Not quite a baby, not quite full grown, and her name is Maple. I think it's around 8 months old or so. Located in the Africa section of the zoo, you do get the cheetah encounter, which is a show where they run the cheetahs. I believe there's some other animals involved as well. Unfortunately, I'm visiting the show on a Thursday, so there's no shows today. Currently at African Penguin Point. Penguins are my personal favorite animal in the whole wide world. They do have a couple different varieties here at the Cincinnati Zoo. You can see them all, lots of them wagging their tails over here. And they do have underwater viewing as well, so you can see them swimming around like that fellow there. And penguins are just the best. Another view here of the penguin enclosure.
They do that after they're fat for a while.
Time to go see the kangaroos. Kind of interesting, this climbing structure, which I believe used to be an upcharge at the zoo, it appears that it is permanently closed, and something else will be coming in this space.
People at the door here.
Oh my goodness. So as you can see, it's a free roaming kangaroo enclosure, including the greeting kangaroo here, who's wonderful. Oh my goodness. Easy to get distracted by one right there as you come in. The rest of them are more off the pathway. Ruhr Valley is home to 2 different species of kangaroos. They're gray kangaroos as well as red kangaroos. Now the kangaroos aren't the only Australian animals you'll find here in Ruhr Valley, as this is also home to the colony of little blue penguins. Little blues are the smallest species of penguin. Some might say the most adorable species. They're a noisy little guy. Look at them go. There's a couple of them walking over here. They're so cool. Also, there's not a species you normally see in a lot of zoos or aquariums. There's only 3 or 4 zoos or aquariums in the country I know of that have the little blues, and they're just awesome. That is one of the largest species of birds right there, the Andean condor. Heading into jungle trails, which is where you'll find a lot of the species of apes and monkeys. So I have hit this enclosure at just the right time. Look at the howler monkey. There's nobody here, just me, a howler monkey. Not even howling, even though there's noises of construction in the background. just me and him chilling out. I'm still looking at the howler monkey, just this time through the glass. Oh my gosh, it's so neat. It's right there. In addition to all the animals in this area, there's a lot of like kind of playground equipment. On this one, like the kids are supposed to swing like a gibbon. This is awesome. Check out the big male orangutan. Just posing on the hill. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Now it's showing off for us. He's the only one I've seen out in their orangutan enclosure, which is a pretty good size. I zoomed in for the fun shot, but yeah, lots of lines for them to climb on here. Something really fun about this exhibit, it continues through buildings. Now this is one of those areas where I really can't show you too much on the video, only because it is for nocturnal animals and it's very, very dark. So I couldn't show you the pygmy slow loris, but oh man, first of all, the theming level in here is fantastic. And then let's see, there's supposed to be gibbons over here. I think I found one. I think he's hanging out here at the end. Oh, look at how beautiful he is as he hops away very fast. See another gibbon in the outdoor enclosure. That's very fun. Move around over there, that is a sifaka, which is, I believe, an animal from Madagascar. And they're another animal that's very, very cool. I think it probably wants to go in its night home. He's giving you a little bit of a look at how awesome it is. Look at the face. The Jungle Trails area is a very interesting exhibit because there's a mix of like large enclosures and then small enclosures. And here you can see the zoo's bonobos, and they have a large enclosure. Now inside of the second building here in Jungle Trails, it starts off with more nocturnal animals, but I can get a view of this one. That is a bush baby. Switching things up, there is an aviary area for a couple of different species of birds. Thanks for squawking on command, pal. There is an indoor area for the bonobos as well. A couple of them here. One playing with a box. Another one of these nocturnal ones. This one's very dark, but I got to see both the pato and the eye. They're awesome. Pato here. Don't like saying this often, but like that's an animal that definitely looks like it could be a Pokemon. Absolutely beautiful. Here you can see some bald eagles.
Okay. Or we can leave early right now.
Very cool. I really like the enclosure here with the waterfalls for the zoo's Galapagos tortoises. One of the largest species of tortoise. Also one that could live well over 100 years old. Not sure how old they are here at the Cincinnati Zoo. Oh, look at this. It's one of the cutest animals in any zoo. The oh so fluffy red panda. Oh man, I love these guys. They have just the adorable little faces. This one's just roaming around. If you don't know, red pandas are most excellent climbers. And if you don't see one in the zoo, try and look up. Because while one was hanging out on the ground, showing off for us, there's another one way up in the tree there. And that guy's probably a good 20, 30 feet in the air. Just being adorable. Heading on into Cat Canyon. The mountain lions have a nice waterfall in their enclosure, but the famous animal is taking a nap up there. It's cat nap time on top of a waterfall. Pretty cool place to take a nap. I did come back to the mountain lions later, and they are both awake. One way up there. I don't think I'm hitting Cat Canyon at the best of times. The Himalayan tiger is also having a snooze. I'm gonna see if I'll wait a minute or so to catch it on camera. But its tail moves in its sleep. Look at it. Like the ears twinge a little bit, and then the tail will move from time to time. My friends, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that it took me about 20 seconds to find the zoo's other Malayan tiger in the other enclosure, when it's, well, right there in front of me. You can see with this Cat Canyon area, they got these dots all over the glass. That is bird glass, so if you have just clear glass, birds can like run right into it. If you have glass like this, they will know that it is glass and they will not go. Got the smaller tiger just taking a snooze right next to me. Look at that beautiful, beautiful owl. That's a Eurasian eagle owl, a big species of owl. Look at its feet. Oh, it's just a really, oh look, I don't even know what it's doing there. That was awesome. The next building up is Manatee Springs. The building is very well themed, and before you get to the manatees, there are a couple of other animals. It's kind of like I never left Florida this morning. Hanging out over there. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to see with glare and whatnot. There is an alligator. Trying to zoom in. There it is. It took me a minute to find the American crocodile. Showing down there. Very pretty. Entered a non-greenhouse environment, which is nice because it was pretty warm in there. Can't get a good shot, but that's an alligator snapping turtle. There is another good-sized aquarium. This one is for fish and some turtles. And here is the manatee enclosure. There's a trio of 2-year-old manatees in here, which is pretty cool because they're much smaller than the normal manatees. These guys take a while to reach full grown. And it's also not super common to see manatees in a zoo or aquarium outside of the state of Florida. Now these, I believe, are rescue manatees that they're trying to nurse back into the wild, or non-releasable rescues. Oh, and they're so neat.
Look, there's another one coming.
This area is also home to a lot of smaller enclosures for things like snakes and turtles. Time to head into Gorilla World. Before you get to the gorillas, I believe these are black and white colobus monkeys. And here is the gorilla enclosure. I love this. You can see 2 of them hanging out up top in the tree. That is awesome. And one with a blanket, and you can see one of the big males. And now it's kind of hard to think about the Cincinnati Zoo and gorillas without thinking of the Harambe incident that occurred back in 2016. And they do talk about it here on the gorilla timeline. There's also a very good size, very modern indoor enclosure for the gorillas. Looks like it is lunchtime for the bongo. That one.
It's that same concept with the foraging.
That other one doesn't seem to be hungry. Here you can see the zoo's flamboyance of flamingo. I do like these guys over here. It's based on how deep the water is. It kind of looks like they're just like big ducks, or at least the one on the right. And you can't tell that with the one on the left, they're just walking. I'm going to zoom in the back of the enclosure there to see the zoo's okapi. They're awesome animals. Oh, look at the tongue. That's some good time in here. Towards the middle of the zoo, you will find wolf woods. The Mexican wolves have a big hill to hang out on. You can see them all kind of hanging out up here towards the top. All lying down. That one is perked up looking at us. No, it's not. Definitely seems like a relaxing time for these good boys. Aww. Swimming around and climbing around. These are North American river otters. Always fun to watch the otters swim around or crawl around. Get little scratches. On the perch up there, that is a red-tailed hawk. One of the oldest buildings at the Cincinnati Zoo is this one here, which is home to the reptile house. This area is home to a bunch of smaller exhibits on the outside. And then the star of the show right in the middle is a Chinese alligator. As you would expect, there are plenty of snakes in here, like the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. I love the pose here on the Gila monster. Check that out. Moving along there, that is an Indian star tortoise. Ah, there we go. There is a plaque outside about this building, built all the way back in 1875. The next building is Birds of the World. As you'd expect, they're home to a whole bunch of different birds. These are birds of the African savanna. There are also thick-billed parrots over there. I just couldn't get it through the fencing. There's one of the prettiest birds you'll find anywhere. That is a toucan. Having a good scratch. Right now I'm in a free flight bird aviary. This is dedicated to the birds of Australasia. Kind of neat being the only one in here. From birds of the warm weather world, we moved into birds of the cold weather world. Look at that puffin. That's a pretty sweet pose. Most of the time you'll see him like this guy here, just swimming along. That's kind of classic puffin pose. And another seabird coming after him. Watching them swim under the water is fascinating. Not like this guy. He just looks like a duck from underwater, but that guy. And he's so cool. Here's my favorite reason coming to the Birds of the World area. This is where the cold weather penguins hang out. They've got rockhoppers as well as king penguins. And I love penguins. This is one of the big king guys over there. Rockhoppers are swimming, shaking their tails. One thing I love about the Cincinnati Zoo, they have a book over here for all of their penguins. And all of their king penguins, well, they get fun names. Like one is Stephen King, Martin Luther King, Stacy King, BB King, and lets you know which wingband to look for that particular penguin. And out of all the names, the one that's my personal favorite, as a huge fan of professional wrestling, we look for the blue wingband. Well, that is Dwayne, but not only Dwayne the Rock Hopper Penguin. The bird-based fun does continue outside the building, as perched up over there, that is a salmon-crested cockatoo. Nice pose, buddy. There is a petting zoo section with some goats and sheep. I'm in the children's zoo area. Look who's walking right past me.
Yep.
It's Cinder. Oh my goodness. That is really fun. Nearby the petting zoo area, they do a show with some of the more domesticated animals at 11 and 2 on certain days of the week. Right there, having a snooze. That is a prehensile-tailed porcupine. His name is Rico. The Cincinnati Zoo does an incredible job with their social media department, so I definitely recommend you give them a follow because I really, really like what they do. Rico is one of their stars. Behind the glass there, you can see a kookaburra. Very difficult to see with the glare, but there is a sloth.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a baby sloth.
Yeah, Juno.
This wonderful looking creature there, that is a tamandua. They are lesser anteaters, and they're really, really cool. When you buy tickets to the zoo, there is a normal admission ticket and one that includes the rides. One of the rides is the safari train. You only see some animals. It's really, I would only recommend this if your kid or yourself really, really like train rides. I'll be honest, this next one is not my favorite exhibit at the zoo. And when I say it's not my favorite, it's nothing against the quality of the exhibit. Actually a really good one. And most zoos don't have like an insectarium. It's just bugs are not really my thing. Like that guy there. I will say, as far as cockroaches go, those have some pretty fun names. Some of these are pretty cool. Check this guy out. That is a thorny devil. Pretty cool enclosure here for the leaf-cutting ants, as there's a tube connecting two different areas. Not too many of them doing the thing. There's one. There's one leafcutter ant carrying the leaf. Oh, got a couple more over here. There's a good one. I also like how there's other enclosures in here. Like you can see this one's for lizards. I believe that guy there is a blue spiny lizard. No, camera, don't focus on that rock. There it is. Look, focus on that good boy right there. Awesome pose on the Chinese crocodile lizard. This would be an example of a not for me section. The Florida orb web spider. There's a second enclosure for the leaf cutting ants. This one lets them travel through this tube to another section of the insectarium, the world of insects as it's known here. Well, I feel like it's probably the most peaceful section of the world of insects. There is a butterfly aviary. You can see them floating around. Out of all the indoor enclosures at the Cincinnati Zoo, this one is my favorite. It's called Night Hunters. Now I'm going to be kind of limited in what I could show you in here as it is a low light environment, but that is a tawny frogmouth sleeping in the back of its enclosure. Not an animal you can see very well, but that is a bear cat, also known as a binturong. Very important animal for them to have here in Cincinnati, as it is the mascot for the University of Cincinnati. The aardvark's up and moving around.
Did you see the aardwolf?
Yeah.
By the window, all sleepy, so cute.
This sweet little fella is a black-footed cat. Running around the enclosure there. Just went to go hide. That is a fennec fox. They are adorable. Unfortunately, Molly could not come with me on this trip, but they are one of her favorite animals. In the back of the enclosure there, that is a fishing cat. Over here you can see the Palace cat perched up there, enjoying its outdoor enclosure. I'm gonna head now into the zoo's dragon building. This building, you do have a lot of smaller enclosures. You can't get a good view, but you do get the fun part. That is an armadillo lizard. You can definitely see how it got its name. Kind of cool look there at the blue tree monitor. A very vibrant shade of blue for an animal. Now, what a treat this is. Look at the pose on the juvenile Komodo dragon. Beautiful creatures. It is just posing perfectly for us. There you can see the larger Komodo dragon. Still, I don't think full grown. Some of them grow up to 10 feet tall. One thing that makes this enclosure really neat is that this Komodo dragon has paired up with a whole species of really small finches. I love this. Even the soda vending machines are themed here at the Cincinnati Zoo. Like there is Rico, the famous porcupine from their social media, on the Pepsi machine. One thing I absolutely love to see at the zoo is whenever zoos are building new and updated enclosures, and that is the case here at the Cincinnati Zoo, where they used to have the polar bears is now going to be home to Bear Ridge. I think it's going to be black bears, and then Sea Otter Coast. See a lot of people very hard at work. It's going to open sometime this fall. I really like the zoo. Might have to come back and check out the new stuff when it opens. The zoo is currently building a new home for the Mexican wolves. I believe this area zoo in the past has been home to like the white lions as well as wallabies. A very interesting smaller exhibit at the zoo is in this beautiful pagoda building here, talking about Martha's legacy. And the zoo's been around a long time. Back in 1910, the Cincinnati Zoo was home to the last ever passenger pigeon that passed away. It was the last of its kind. So this is kind of an exhibit about extinction and then, you know, conservation. The Cincinnati Zoo, it is a pretty good sized zoo, definitely one you could spend all day at. Getting a little bit tired here, looked at my watch and realized, about beer 30, recharge the batteries. Here at the beer garden in Rue Valley, they've got 6 different beers on draft. I'm drinking one from nearby Mad Tree Brewing. And as you expect, a wonderful zoo like this has a wonderful gift shop as well. lots of merchandise for their famous animals like the bloat. I do like that you can buy different hats that put you on Team Fiona or Team Fritz. And there we go. That'll do it for the Cincinnati Zoo. Man, I love that place. Every time I go, I leave with just a big, big smile on my face. To me, it's one of the 4 best zoos in the country. And honestly, you could see them really just continuing to improve. I mean, that elephant area was massive, 5 acres for the elephants. And then they're not stopping there. You know, they're continuing. You got the new enclosure for the Mexican wolves. You got the new enclosure for the black bears and the sea otters. So really great to see them continuing along. A little bit of information about the zoo. It did cost around $32 for a ticket to get in. And if you are a member of a different zoo, you do get your reciprocal discounts. It only cost me about $16 to get in. And there we go. If you got any questions about the Cincinnati Zoo, let me know in the comment section below. And thank you very much for watching this video.